Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youth and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. This 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor. Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery? Why they whitewash our history? Keep dividing is their plan. All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. We are live. We are live. We are live. Oh my God. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. You know who I am. I can't wait to have this conversation with one of my most favorite people on this planet. Everybody say hi to Alisyn Camerota. You know her. You know that face. You know who she is. Come on in. Punch the red hearts. So as I know that you're hearing us, and that does something to the algorithms. Welcome everybody as you come in. It's raining where I am. Allison, what's it like up there?
Shockingly sunny because it has been
Wow.
so I'm in Connecticut. It's been the longest, snowiest, most frigid winter in recent memory. I mean, record breaking. It snows, every week. Like, for instance, the snow is still on the ground here, and it has been on the ground since Christmas. I the ground since Christmas.
Welcome everybody as you come in. I'm going to have a really interesting conversation with Allison. Everybody on Substack, as you come in, I'll say this a few times. Damn it, you need to follow her and you need to subscribe to her. And if you don't, I might get a little pissed off. I say that generally, Allison, but I'm going to say this also to everybody and to you. And this is where we'll jump in and start. We live in a world that you used to be in, man, every day, where we're fighting and going at each other every day. And it seems like there are so many voices on Substack, mine included. We're just fighting every day. You are doing something really unique, cool, and important on Substack that I want to talk about. That's why you need to follow Allison and subscribe to Alisyn Camerota at Allison. Hey, welcome, my lady. How are you?
I'm doing well. I take it day by day. And today is a good day. And I never entirely know why something is a good day or a bad day. I'm grieving my husband. It's been 18 months.
18 months.
19 now. I count my months. So 19 months since he died. And there's, these what they call grief ambushes, where you never exactly know when one of the tsunamis is going to hit you. It might not be what you predict, a trigger of some kind. But today I'm feeling good. So I'm just with that.
Allison, do you know early in the day if it's going to be a good or a bad day?
No. That's dependent upon, something that happens where it tips the day over from my high functioning and productivity into like, oh, wait a second, my life sucks. Oh, I forgot for a minute that my life sucks. Oh, that's too bad. It still sucks. That happens.
Your husband, the love of your life, correct me if I'm wrong, was sick with cancer for 2 years roughly, right? Since
Well,
diagnosed?
yeah, he had from diagnosis until he passed away was 2 years, but he wasn't sick. This was the crazy thing, Joe. I
Yeah.
mean, this was the crazy thing is that he wasn't sick. He was incidentally diagnosed after he'd played his best game of tennis ever. He looked fantastic. He didn't have a single gray hair on his head. He was the fittest 56-year-old you've ever seen in your life. And so it's a very strange, I mean, it feels a lot like a lightning strike because it it didn't there weren't warning signs. And even after diagnosis, the treatment makes you sick, but he was so strong, such a mensch that he didn't complain about it. So we had like almost 2 really good years, even though we knew that we were on borrowed time.
Is there a point in that? Because pancreatic cancer is obviously so serious. Was How long would you say over the 2 years? And I never heard you say that. That's fascinating because I know he was a fit, active, healthy guy. Were there then just a few weeks where he was down for the count?
Yeah, I mean, he was never down for the count. The 2 days before he died, he was on the phone on a conference call at work, and
Jeez.
he'd been losing weight, and we were gonna go into the hospital for him to get some nutrition, and so I was, like, saying to him, like, "Wrap it up. We gotta
Yeah.
go. They're waiting. Like, we gotta go." And he was like, "Wait a minute." He was like, buy low, sell high." Like, I conference call. I never the joke in our house among the kids and me was like, Tim was in private equity, and so he would start to talk about we'd all be like, fall asleep about his work. So I really don't know what he was saying on the phone. But in any event, he was on a conference call, like giving important instructions. And so he just, pancreatic cancer at the end can be very
Yep.
abrupt. I think really this is unique to him. He just soldiered through it in a way that I haven't seen ever before.
Allison, that's fascinating. So he soldiers through it. He's a stud muffin until he passes away. Like, so then even him literally passing away must have been abrupt to you because there wasn't months and months and months of him laying around in a bed just
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I think that that's right, Joe. I think that my kids and I wander around and go, "What happened? What wait, what happened to our lives?" I used to say there are only 2 ways to die. The sudden the sudden shock or the long protracted goodbye. There's only 2 ways. Well, once again, Tim proves me wrong. That now I have to amend that. And it does feel very surreal. I mean, for all of us, because we were living our lives and then pretty abruptly we weren't.
So, Allison, that's fascinating because you're right. That is not one of those 2 scenarios. That's unusual.
I
Um,
know.
do you now 18, 19 months later look back at that as a good thing or a bad thing? That was a gift or that was a
I mean, I try to
well,
be
you
grateful.
feel cheated because
I mean, the only way what I've realized, Joe, and I felt this way since I definitely have felt this way since Tim was diagnosed. Since the day he was diagnosed, I have learned that gratitude is the only way through grief, and I guess I would say through life. So, gratitude is the magical elixir that can help you get through hard times, and I think should be practiced every day. But I always was a grateful person. I mean, this isn't like I had to turn over a new leaf. Like
right.
I've been very grateful for my, you know, charmed life, quite frankly. I mean, and so I've tried to be grateful for how the whole thing unfolded, even though, it's tragic. I mean, it is tragic, but I've tried to be grateful even within the tragedy for how, basically Tim didn't suffer. He didn't act like he was suffering. He was
Yeah.
really strong us, and I'm grateful for that.
Um, Allison, you've got 3 children. How are they doing generally?
Today, they're doing well. Today, they're spoken to one of the 3 of them, but yesterday I spoke to all 3 of them. It goes day by day. I say not I'm not kidding. When the phone rings and it's one of them and I answer, I don't know what I'm gonna get. I have no idea if it's gonna be elation, telling me about a great test score, telling me about a great achievement, telling me about some opportunity, or hyperventilating in grief. Never know. So that is always a fun Russian roulette to answer the phone, which I do whenever they call. Um, so in general, they've done well. In general, really strong. We're all really close.
Yeah.
And grateful. I'm so grateful to have them, and I'm grateful for how we've all experienced post-traumatic growth.
Allison, and I love it because you've said this to me before, it is day by day. Uh, as you move away from Tim passing away, is are there more good days or bad days, or you're not even at that point yet?
I have suddenly, I mean, at, like, about 18 months, I'm starting to have more good days than bad days now. I mean, truly, this is very new. Everything is so new. Every week is different.
Yeah.
I think the first year was just survival mode. I was just trying to function every day. I was trying to get out of bed. I was trying to not be in complete cognitive fog. So now, after the first year, I'm trying to put one foot in front of the other, trying to reinvent, trying to figure out how to rebuild my life. Um, and I would say that recently the scale has tipped from more good days than bad days. But again, I'm always like kind of reluctant to say this because I don't know what the secret formula is. So like it could easily tip back, I think.
That's interesting. Um, your life was back in your network days, paying attention every effing day to all the shit, all the events, all the news going on. With what you've experienced and losing Tim, I mean, is it hard to pay attention to what the heck's going on politically in this world?
Yes, yes, very hard. I mean, I find I'm one of these people. I was never a news hound, never.
Yeah.
So telling people stories. I wasn't somebody I work with a lot of those news junkies who like got an adrenaline rush when there was breaking news. It would, get a high from it. I would dive under the desk and hide. I, I mean, I just like a story simmering. I like to be able
Yeah.
to get my arms around a story. I like to know who I'm going to talk to. Uh, I don't like to dive into the thick of the breaking news. But in any event, I did it, and there is a rush, of course, from it. However, I'm one of these people now who has turned away from the news because it does affect our central nervous systems so much, particularly with President Trump. He's such an agent of chaos. He likes chaos. He operates well in chaos. Most of us don't. And so it's so hard to process for so many people. When I hear people say, "Oh, the death of cable news or cable news is dying," it's like because people are protecting their mental health. That's what's
Yeah.
going on. You know?
So Allison, you really buy that. There's something to that. For those of us who pay attention every fucking day and are into this, and so many people listening right now to us,
Yeah.
there's a health aspect to that.
Well, I think so, but Joe, are you? Tell me what you do. Are you like really mired in it every day? Because you're a put up your dukes kind of guy. Are you in that? You are. Are you in that level of kind of like activation all day long?
Allison, you remember my infamous musket tweet from 2016. I said, if Trump doesn't win, I'm going to grab my musket and charge the White House. Every day, I feel like I grab my musket and I walk out to that battlefield out there. And from 8 in the morning till 8 or 9 at night, I'm just at war. I'm not a kid. It's exhausting. I'm, t-
Wow.
I'm tired every night.
But Joe, you must be getting something out of it because otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. Like, do you feel like you're making an impact?
Well, part of it, kiddo, is I'm a good old Catholic boy, and you remember, by the way, everybody, back in my divisive Tea Party days, Allison would be one of the wonderful network hosts who would respectfully grill me. I used to be very divisive. Part of me feels like this is my mission. I've got to, until I drop, I've got to do something about the divide in this country. So it's kind of a cause for me, and maybe it will kill me, but it's tiring.
Well, I don't know, Joe. You're good at it. You're good. You're very good at it. I always restack your notes on Substack because you're thoughtful. It's so nice to listen to somebody who just speaks plain spoken, off the cuff, just candid, says it like it is. Because President Trump is the master of double speak, and he is so hypocritical, and he goes back and forth between what he says, and you have no idea where he stands. It's so like refreshing when somebody's like, "Here's the deal, here's how it's going to work." And so I think that you're very good at it, but you also must get a little bit of energy, or it would be
I
too.
must. Yeah, I must. I forget what that gland is. The
Yeah, like your adrenal gland or your.
Thank you. Mine must be kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be all over the map. Have you found yourself in the last 18 months losing interest in certain things you were interested in, but then gaining interest in anything new?
Definitely. Definitely. So small talk is torture, but I mean, we all know that. Small
Yeah,
talk generally
always.
is torture, but now it's like actually like physically hurts me. And so I can't go to a big I can't go to big social gatherings in the way I used to. Um
Because you don't want to. Yeah,
and I have a visceral reaction to it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I can't do that. And I have never been somebody who meditates. I pray. I am spiritual. I do feel close to the universe, to God, to the source, whatever you want to call it. But I've never been somebody who could like just sit and meditate. And now, in just the past, I don't know, 3 weeks, month, or whatever, someone turned me on to um, Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's like one of these kind of spiritual gurus who
Yeah.
help connect. He has a huge following, and I recognize that I'm cult bait right now. So I'm really trying not to, like fall into some sort of
Yeah,
cult. But but I mean, I'm a journalist, so I luckily approach everything with some skepticism. But his meditations, because he guides them, so
cool.
you're not just by yourself with your silence and your thoughts. He
Yeah,
guides you into how to kind of get out of your own body and tap into the cosmos and to the universe. And I'm finding it really helpful.
cool.
Yeah.
What else? Is there anything else that you've gained an interest in these past 18, 19 months?
I took singing lessons.
Yes. Seriously, Allison, you did?
Yep. I did, Joe, because I've always loved music. I know the lyrics to every song ever written. Try me. I mean, I can't believe I'm leaving money on the table by not going. Like, is there a name in this tune still out there? Because I would be the champion of it. I know the lyrics to every song. Well, I mean, every song written from 1966 on, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
And but I couldn't carry a tune. So it's really tragic because to know the lyrics to every song, but to feel like self-conscious about singing it is a bad bind to be in.
Can, can, I,
Also,
can I ask a stupid question? Can someone be taught to be a good singer?
well, I think I have been. I think
Seriously.
I do. I think because okay, so here's what happened. So my husband was a beautiful singer. He was in an
Okay.
acapella at Yale famously.
Yeah.
And so when I would sing, he would like cover his ears. He would cover his ears and be like, ah. Oh, and so I got a complex. Well, I had a complex before he would cover his ears. Like I always had a complex because people were always like, oof, that's off. Like people would record. And so then my husband gave me an added complex. And so now in the past 18 months, I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to sing. I'm going to go see if it's possible. So I walk in and I tell the wonderful instructor, I'm tone deaf. I can't carry a tune. She was like, okay, well, let me try some scales with you. She was like, you're not tone deaf. You can match pitch. I was like, I can? She was like,
Whoa.
yeah, I just have to teach you how. She was like, you're actually on pitch. You can
Wow.
do like, really? And so she taught me and we recorded it. And I was afraid to listen to it. And I was like, I can sing. And
Wow.
so I just had to learn a few tricks. So I think I've made a lot of progress with that. I mean, I'm still only belting it out in the car. I
Okay.
haven't taken this for a test run on people.
But
But
if you're walking around your house, you wouldn't hesitate to break out in song.
correct. Correct.
Can I slap your hubby a little bit? God rest his soul. Did he never get on your butt? Why, Mr. Acapella, did he never get on your butt to take singing lessons back in the day?
No, I think he thought I was a lost cause. And I've said to him since then, since taking the singing lessons, excuse me, Tim, I Stephanie thinks I can sing. Okay. So I have had that conversation with him.
What a riot. Hey, your faith in general. Don't know what your faith was prior to Tim passing away or now, but is it hard to answer? Like, have you become a more faithful person, a less faithful person, or anything?
No, I'm the same. I've always believed in God. I've always believed, or call it whatever you want. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
it's a man with like a white robe, but I've always believed in God. I've always felt the presence and hand of God at work in my life. I do think I've had a lot of lucky breaks. Meeting Tim was one of the luckiest, and having my children was
Hey,
lucky.
baby, can I stop you right there? Because I've never asked you this question. I want the moment. I want the moment, the location, the time, the date of when you first fucking set eyes on him. Where were you when? I mean, just Allison, I will not get any more personal than that. Just the first time you physically set eyes on him. Give it to me.
I walked into a bar in Chicago called Shuba's. It was
Oh, no, Allison, that was one of my favorite hangouts. Continue. Oh my God, I love Shubas.
if I had turned left and I had seen Joe off that day, this whole story would have been different.
My
We
God,
would have all been-
Allison, where were you? Oh my God. Continue.
You might have been in there because it was happy hour on a Friday in Chicago. And so because you know that bar, I walked in and there was like a wall of men that
Yeah,
turned around like corn-fed men. I'm from
yeah.
these like Midwestern corn-fed men that like turned around. I was like, Tim? Because it was a blind date.
Oh, it was
And
a blind date. It was a blind date.
it was a blind date, yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know what he looked like. And there were all these men at happy hour in there. And then I saw one guy over by the window. He was like, had it like, he was like, just like perusing a newspaper, like killing time over by the big, like plate glass window in front. And I walked over and he like put the paper down and he goes, Allison? And I was like, oh my God, he's amazingly handsome.
Ah!
Embarrassed. My friends hadn't told me that he looks like a young Warren Beatty. Like they buried the lead. My stupid friends are such like do-gooder, salt of the earth, like substantial people. They didn't tell me that he's wildly handsome.
Okay. I'm going to push back just a little. There's no freaking way your friends would set you up with someone without giving you a little bit of how hot he is physically. A
Guess
little
what?
bit.
Guess what? They didn't. This is pre-internet. Okay, this is pre-internet where there's no way to look. They were like, I think I have a picture of him. They would like forget to bring it over to my house for book club. They were like, I had a picture of him. I forgot to bring it. I was like, I
Oh
was
my.
like, oh my God.
So
Like,
Elson, you went into this totally fucking blind.
and had he seen me? Because I was on TV. He had tried to see me. I was working at Fox at that time.
Yeah.
So I wasn't pre-internet, but like there was not everybody's pictures that you
Yeah.
could find on the internet. I was working at Fox. I think that he had tried to see me, but had like missed me, like tried during different live shots to see me, but had missed me. But anyway, yeah, I went into this totally blind like an idiot. Hmm.
How long did you two hang in Shuba's? Did you then go to dinner somewhere?
Yeah, we then went to dinner, and I forget the name of the dinner.
Doesn't matter. Hey, Allison, I'm forever yours. Shuba's did it. That's all you need to say. This is one of my favorite questions. Go.
Is Shuba still there, or has it?
Yes. I don't know if he's still the owner. I always knew the owner. Um, I've been married twice. I've been married to Helene for 20 some years.
Wow.
My favorite question is, we were set up on a blind date. Um, what was I lied. I am gonna ask a more personal question. I've always loved this question. Okay, he looks like Warren Beatty. What was then and what remained throughout your marriage to him your most favorite part of his physical being?
Mhm.
I fell in love with my wife's neck. She had a long, elegant neck. What did you love most about your Warren Beatty? Physically. Yeah, all you gotta do, Allison, is give me one. Just one, anything.
Well, Joe, it's funny. It's not any one feature. It's like the outline. Like it's more
Mm.
like the outline. I loved like just how he looked, the whole outline, like how he walked, how he held himself, how like his posture, his like it was all of that. It wasn't like his dreamy eyes, which he did have, or his beautiful hair, which he did have. Um, that just the whole package like that.
That's it. It's the whole package. That's cool. Thank you. Allison, I'll always love this because of Shubas. Um, I I talk you up again to switch topics because you can go on Substack and there are thousands of us every day screaming about Trump, some for, some against.
Are there
And
4? Let me ask you this, Joe,
uh,
because it has Substack, and I love Substack, and I think there's a lot of wonderful, thoughtful. I think it's a really smart platform. I really enjoy it, and I enjoy, reading it more than I enjoy reading even different
yes,
news. There's something very, it doesn't upset my central nervous system. Maybe because I have such a potpourri of different people. So I can read an artist, I can read a writer, and then I can read you. And it's like a great mix. However, don't you think that we're all now operating in our own,
yes.
of our own kind? Like, do you engage with a lot of pro Trump MAGA people on Substack?
Um, more and more, but it's still a huge minority. So I think Substacks become the alternative to Twitter. Twitter and Twitter, it's pretty predominantly MAGA and right because of that fuckhead who owns it. Substacks become the alternative. Blue Sky, I mean, I love it. I'm everywhere, but Blue Sky is a very close knit group of lefties generally. So yeah, Substacks become the alternative. But to your point, a lot of different kinds of voices and topics on Substack.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. I think it's a fantastic platform. I do have a little bit of subscription fatigue
Yes,
because, I think, I mean, I personally think that there should be some bundling. I've mentioned this to them.
good.
Um, I also think that it's wonderful how much free content you can get. So,
Yeah.
you can get a lot of stuff for free and read, and I do, and I read a lot of stuff, and it's wonderful to see how many thoughtful, caring, kind, cool people are out there because you could think otherwise. If you just watch cable news or if you just listen to this administration, I mean, they've cornered the market on like toxicity.
Yeah.
And so I'm very happy to be in other communities where I don't encounter anybody toxic.
I think, Elson, I think Substack's gonna do something to their monetization because 'cause you're right. The average, wonderful person out there isn't gonna pay 5, $6 to 12, 13 different people, so that can't stand. But what I adore about you and why I want everyone to follow Allison and subscribe to Allison is because you're presenting something different. And I love what your Substack page says. You're trying to bring sanity to the world through thoughtful conversations. That word sanity, like from your perspective, what's that mean?
It means like, I know, and I only hang out with, and I know a lot of people, really rational, thoughtful, as I said, cool, compassionate people. So they're out there in droves.
Yeah.
And the idea that that's not our national conversation is very strange. And it's very bifurcated in, I think, an unhealthy way that doesn't feel
Dude,
good.
why is that, Allison? This was your world. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that it turns out that, I mean, there's two things. So there's cable news, which has to feed the beast all the time, and you do want to keep people engaged, and it is hard to have thoughtful conversations in 5 minutes. So the general way that cable news is set up, they didn't intend
Right.
to toxicity. That was
Right.
nobody's. That wasn't Ted Turner's goal, but in a way, it skims the surface in a way that ends up being not as satisfying. Often, but I mean, obviously, for breaking news and stuff,
Yeah.
does a public service that can't be replicated anywhere else. Okay, so that's that. But when there's not breaking news and there's just this like kind of ongoing conversations about, for instance, the dissection of things that Donald Trump says into like granular detail is silly. It's silly. I mean,
Yes.
what does it matter what he says? It doesn't. He doesn't mean it.
He didn't
He'll say,
mean it. He's lying. Yeah.
why are we doing this? So that is a problem. And then, obviously since 2016 or 2015 or even before that, I guess I think Fox News kind of started this, the toxicity in our politics where people would just come on with the most
Yeah.
extreme soundbite has been pernicious, I think, and had a hurtful effect on the country.
Like, and you don't need to respond to this because you're such a nicer, better person than I am. I adore Abby Phillip, and I've been on her show a few times. But it just pisses me off that, to your point, and this is you're not saying this, I'll say this. I can't stand Scott Jennings. Just can't stand him. He's like an actor playing a role. He was never MAGA. I think he's making a good living doing what he's doing, but he's an actor. He doesn't mean what he says. And so part of me doesn't like that shows I want different viewpoints, but I want honest brokers on. And maybe I'm too naive. I think there are too many people like that, but
You're not alone, Joe. Obviously, so many people feel this way. I don't understand. Scott's a nice guy. I mean, look, I've been on with Scott a million times. He was a nice guy. I don't get what's happening, honestly. He was somebody who was super rational and who did think that what Trump was doing was, nuts. So I mean, I hear people say like, "Oh, he's making a good living." Who cares?
who
Who
cares?
cares? At what cost? I don't get.
Allison, back in the day, he was the squishy establishment Republican. I was the crazy Tea Party guy, and he would go after me. And now he's full on MAGA. So, but again, the industry kind of incentivizes people to play roles. Do you? Maybe you don't even care, but like, will CNN and MS Now and these things even exist 10 years from now?
I don't know. I think people will always need journalists. We do need I was just watching CNN a second ago. I saw Clarissa Ward. I saw Nick Payton Walsh.
Yeah.
In the region, we will always need solid journalists to shed a light on places and people that we don't have access to.
Yeah.
Always. That includes Capitol Hill. I mean, that includes politics. So I think that people are hungry for information. We always have been. Um, the delivery system has changed, but I don't know, I just see solid journalism all over the place, and I think that, like, one example is what you and I were talking about how many people subscribe to
Yeah.
different things, hungry for information still. That hasn't gone away. So, I hope in some form that things like this exist, yes.
So if you're out having a glass of wine with a girlfriend and somebody says, "Oh, Allison, you've got a Substack." in 30 seconds, like you would say to that person, what's your mission? What is your mission with your Substack? What are you trying to do?
So, I mean, I'm in a period of reinvention myself. I'm trying to rebuild. I'm trying to figure out, what I want to do, what's important, what kind of community I want to be in. And I'm not alone. Turns out a lot of women, even if you have, okay, a lot of people, but I'm mostly in touch with women about this
Yeah.
at a certain age, between 40 and 60, say, or even older, are at a crossroads.
Yeah.
Maybe you've become an empty nester. Maybe you are at a career crossroads. Maybe you have suffered a loss of some kind, a divorce, whatever. And so a lot of people are trying to figure out what the next step is. So I feel like I just decided to reinvent, like, out in public,
Yeah.
and um it resonates with a lot of people. I mean,
Have
a
you
lot
found
of
that helpful?
have I found it helpful?
Have you found it helpful to publicly show yourself dealing with what you're dealing with and trying to reinvent yourself publicly?
Well, I don't know that I have found it helpful so much as, like, that's just kind of how I'm built,
Yeah.
because I've been a public facing
Yeah.
person for so many decades. It did start to feel weird to be like, now I'm going to shut the curtain and you're
Yeah.
not going to about me, all even though everybody has been very kind in asking and wanting to know and wanting to reach out. So the, like, let me draw the curtains didn't feel exactly right. But so I'm just kind of doing it in the natural way that I always do things. But I will say that once again, people surprise you by how incredibly kind and
Yeah.
loving and generous they are. And I'm, very grateful for that.
You had an amazing conversation with and then wrote a piece with one of the Israeli hostages, Eli Sharabi. Am I pronouncing that right?
He pronounced his name Eli Sharabi. Yeah.
Eli Sharabi, one of the 251 hostages held for 491 days. When he was released, he found out then that his wife and teenage daughters had been killed by the Hamas terrorists. What was that like speaking with him?
Just wonderful. I am well, I shouldn't say that. I'm particularly comfortable right now around people who know grief,
Uh,
who have experienced grief, because it
yeah,
turns out, like, it's amazing, Joe. Like, a lot of people haven't experienced grief. God bless them. They will, but they haven't. And so there's a lot of, like, confusion I find about what grieving people need, what they look like. So when I encounter somebody who I know from the get go knows grief, I can drop the veil
yeah,
immediately,
yeah.
comfortable with that person. So from the minute that I met him backstage in the, like, green room, I liked him. I felt like we connected on an emotional level because grievers don't have to explain shit to each other, that you have to explain to other people. So his grief, his story is so devastating that I just kind of was grateful to be in his
Yeah,
presence and
yeah,
how he's functioning. And he has this mantra where every day he just chooses life. It's that simple.
fascinating.
It's fascinating. Like, you can just choose to say, I've had enough of this. This doesn't feel good. This life sucks. I mean, these are all, I'm telling you my inner thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, that's what is going on in my head a lot of the time. And then I say to Ellie, like, how do you do it? And he said, you just choose life. And every day he just wakes up and chooses life. I was like, oh, huh, okay. And so I tried that after meeting him, where I'd be like,
How'd that work?
it's great. It's great. It's a great mantra.
Well, and it's a great mantra, and the name of the piece is "Choosing to Live While Carrying Trauma." Man, Allison, that's a powerful word, trauma. I mean, while literally carrying trauma.
Yeah, I mean, his is. I mean, I think that my kids and I carry trauma, but Ellie's is such acute trauma because of the violence that he had to endure for those 491 days, being tortured, being beaten, his family being killed. So it's hard to imagine worse trauma, and yet, he chooses life, and it's
And
like,
he chooses to share his story, right? He's traveling the world
yeah. So he
telling
wrote
people.
he wrote a book called Hostage, which I recommend to everybody. And so he's traveling the world and having to like answer questions about this every day, which is hard.
Um, let's close. I could talk to you for 3 hours.
Me too. Let's
Um,
pick Cubas.
oh, Allison, I will fly and meet you at Shuba's. 18, 19 months later, the love of your life passes away. What do you, and don't answer this if you can't, Allison, like as you sit here with me now, what are you most surprised about with where you're at right now, you and your life? What do you find surprising?
I guess just that I can function. You
Hmm.
know, that I can function. I didn't know what this life would look like. I didn't choose this life. I didn't know that I would be able to go on with life. And so I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just that life force, Joe. Like it's kind of in keeping with choose life. Like the
Yeah.
life in people just somehow keeps going against all odds.
Can I ask you one more? And I know what your answer is going to be, jerk.
Well,
I-
I mean,
I-
tell me the
this is it. You and I have a cocktail together at Shuba's in 7 years.
Mm.
Any clue on what you're going to be doing?
I don't make predictions anymore, Joe.
I knew that. I knew
It it's a fool's game. I mean,
that's
it's
a
a f
great.
you have no idea what's gonna happen tomorrow, nor do I. 7 years feels like an eternity. Uh, so no, I don't know. What will you be doing in 7 years?
I all I know is I'm gonna meet you at Shuba's and I'm gonna have my tequila. Allison, that is a great point because we don't know, and that's the beauty and the difficulty of life. You don't know where you're gonna be tomorrow. Um, I want everyone to follow this lady, this very well-known public lady. She has interesting shit to say. She talks to interesting people. She has interesting things to write. Follow Allison on Substack. Subscribe to Allison on Substack. You will get a lot out of it. Alisyn Camerota, I think you're wonderful. Thanks so much for taking some time.
The feeling's mutual, Joe. Thanks so much. I always love talking to you, seeing you in person.
Thanks, everybody. Ciao,
Thanks, everyone.
ciao. Thanks,
Okay.
Allison.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.